What's going on, gamers? So we got a react to David Jaffe basically responding to what people said about what he said about the recent God of War Metroidvania that launched on PlayStation. According to him, he is not salty. Of course, he made this thumbnail to obviously attract attention and stuff. But there were some people that were criticizing him because he only played an hour of the game. And yeah, we got a react video here to him basically saying what he felt about that, which is actually interesting. So we're going to look at the tweet, then we're going to go to the YouTube video. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think about this. He's definitely been a bit dramatic lately. He's definitely entertaining to watch and sometimes funny to laugh at. And I know, like I say, he's a mixed bag for sure, and a lot of people realize that. So right here, he says, anytime I say anything negative about PlayStation, it's the same old crap from the cheap seats. It's funny. Like some of his replies are comical. Like you just gotta laugh. He says Jaffe is salty because he wants to make God of War and they won't let him. And the new games are so much better than his, and he is mad. Here is the truth. There was his response. That's what some people were telling him. Obviously, he took that personal, so he's replying to this, and he made that thumbnail. I am not salty. Obviously, there's a bit of a mixed expression in this, if it's real or not, but you kind of get the point. And we got a comment here by the Ninja You Love to Hate saying, I'm not salty doesn't really land when every explanation boils down to, and we know this guy like Sony, modern AAA is terrible. You wouldn't touch it. They shouldn't change the character like that. Folks aren't inventing a narrative, they're listening. Jaffe replies to him saying, sure, unless of course you take into account I love God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. I did touch and finished it. I do not like the character after 2018 wrapped as his arc is done and he's boring now. Folks are inventing a narrative. They're morons. Ooh. So Jaffe can be pretty blunt lately. He says, you finished it, you liked parts of it, cool, but his arc is done, he's boring now. Isn't some neutral critique. No one is imagining the angle. I mean, that's what Jaffe thinks, obviously, but a lot of people enjoy those God of War games. Like, they are pretty good. Ragnarok is still a good God of War game, you know what I mean? I don't think it's as good as 2018, but it's still pretty good. I wouldn't say it's boring, that's for sure. But this is the thing. Then you got people saying, leave everything aside, get us behind the scenes of that thumbnail face. And then he shows basically what he did here. This guy says, no, you're salty because you refuse to allow things to grow and change. Because of that lack of self-awareness, you come across as an asshole. Basically, Gaming Messiah tells him that. That's pretty funny. So yeah, we definitely got some drama going down here in the comments. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this, and we're about to dive into his video that he just put up. It's not a super long video. It's about almost 5 minutes, but we're gonna get to see what he basically has to say about it. So we can go ahead and pause this here. Yeah, interesting stuff here. You know, I said I haven't played the game, but I thought it should have been $20 because you got games like Hollow Knight and other games that are pretty meta peak, and it's like, Sony should have charged 20 for it. You probably been able to sell more. And obviously it's a side team too. So let's get into this.
This is how you know I'm not salty about this. And people want to label me as that. And they're just simply wrong. Okay. I loved God of War 2018. I loved God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. I enjoyed some of the PSP games. And I've loved the Twisted Metal TV show. Anything that's negative, you guys create a narrative in your brain that says, we can't take what Jaffe's saying serious because he's just upset. I'm like, newsflash, bitches. I put you in the same camp where the people who say, oh, look how far Jaffe has fallen. He's just doing YouTube now.
That is absolutely hilarious. He's pretty blunt now. You can tell he don't care about even representing his legacy at Sony. He's just going to be David Jaffe. Guys can be seen as a clown too. I bet some people probably think that, but that's funny what he says. Like I said, some of the stuff with him, you gotta have to laugh. He's pretty blunt and he's pretty straightforward. He's not fake. He's just David Jaffe right now in 2026, I guess. I know some people were probably worried about him a bit, but I think he'll be all right. This is pretty funny though. I can't wait to see what he's gonna have to say about what he thinks about doing YouTube now.
I love this job so much. I am so happy doing this.
Okay.
I am happier doing this than I ever was making video games. I'm sorry that if it doesn't hit your list of jobs that you consider noble, I'm sorry about that. I wish I wouldn't be such a disappointment to you. But I get to wake up and talk to people from all over. I'm not even going to sell you on it. You like it, you don't. You respect it, you don't. But I wish, at least for the moment, you would entertain the idea that sometimes people can be upset with things because there's not an ulterior motive. They just don't like it.
So with this game, I can understand that maybe somebody that played the intensity meta peaks of God of War could possibly feel that way. With this game, there can be some ground of reason to what he is saying. I can see that. Then you got to have PlayStation fanboys that want to defend everything, and then there's just people that are honest on the PlayStation side that are just like, that's fine if he wants to think that. He created the God of War series. He's been there. He has a right to kind of say that. He's not really going off the rails when it comes to this. The only thing I wish is he would have played more than an hour. That's all I have to say about that. You know what I mean? Other than that, I'm like, okay, I understand, because I've seen other articles kind of say similar things, but maybe not that far-fetched, but it has been seen that, and it has like a 75 meta or something, so it's not like blowing charts. You know what I mean? It's not like blowing the scores out of the water. It's not doing something like you would see Hollow Knight and all of them. Like, they get up Hades into the 90-something range, you know what I mean? And that's where I feel like Sony charging $34 was a mistake. They should have charged $19.99 for it, and I think the receptivity probably would have been better for sure.
They just don't fucking like it. How about that? How about that? This is being done at every turn, Jaffe, says Jonas. You see this done to anyone who criticizes anything these days, and has for a long time. Yeah, fuck them. Go fuck yourselves. All you fucking morons, go fuck yourself. Right. 3 end user says, work from home, talk about video games. Sounds sweet. It is sweet. And then I get to go over to locale where I get to talk about things that aren't video games that I still love, that pisses off the video game people because they don't want politics over here. They don't want me to talk about UFOs over here. So I got a show over there I can do. It's also fun to do. God forbid, not making. Why don't you go make a fucking video game? If you think it's the greatest job in the world, then you go fucking do it. I did it for 20 years. I want to do this now. May I have your permission to do this now, you fucking condescending, non-contributing twat? I do kind of think, says Darth Nugget, you're in denial. Well, we have a therapist in the chat. Do I seem like I'm in denial machine? And you'd actually be more fulfilled if you were still creating something. Games, movies, comic books. I think you need more of an outlet. I don't care what you think. I mean, I clearly do because I'm addressing it. But you go make a comic book. I've done it. It wasn't fun. The end result was fun. Watching people play it was fun. But having to sort of pull that out of me and fight people over it and argue and be political and build the team, it's exhausting.
So he's explaining certain things, Now, I had to do that. But no, I mean, I think he's being honest here. He's saying that it wasn't fun doing some of that stuff, but it's fun seeing people play your game and stuff. I can understand that because development can be stressful, definitely depending on who you're working for too and what the hell's going on. Then he's talking about the comic as well. I don't think he's lying here. I think he's pretty much being straightforward, but this is interesting. Let's keep going.
And it's only gotten more exhausting as the industry has gotten harder. I'll consult, because then I'm like, hey, I'll show up and give you what I got and I'll put my heart and soul in it, but I'm not going to live or die by it. But I'm good, man. I'm fucking good, dude. And General Jaffe is continuing to create, says Machine, just in different ways. Yeah, well, what you have to understand about that is, you guys see Sony as the same entity that was Sony when you got into it with PS1, PS2, right? Or whatever. But when I started at Sony, it has more in common with me doing YouTube and streaming and videos than making games does. Because I could walk in back then and I had so much freedom, and I could over the weekend just have a fucking brainstorm and come in and tell my boss, hey, I want to try this. Okay. That's what streaming is like right now. Right? Versus like, can you imagine with these budgets of $400-500 million, all the people that you have to get buy-in from, and then you take that and you merge it with just the normal day-to-day politics of a team and the stuff that you can tell the team that On High is saying and that you can't. And then you've got to figure out how to manipulate. And I hate that verb, but it's true. You have to manipulate the great artist to do something that he doesn't want to do, but you can't tell him why you're so passionate about it. But it really is because if you don't do it, you're worried you're going to piss off this one key person in marketing. And without that person's ally, you're probably not going to get the big rollout you need for the game to be successful. These are all the plates you're spinning, boys. It's not just sitting there with a notebook going, what would be cool is if Kratos had a weapon that also, it's a big fucking thing. And I don't have any interest in that. But you guys go get that job if you want. If that
You know what? It is interesting how he said the Sony back then is different than now. Yeah, of course, it's totally different people. The industry is way more invaded. There is a lot more politics involved. There is a lot more directions that have been shifted. Definitely with live service chasing, all that type of stuff. He has a good point when it comes to that. I feel like this video. I actually like this video because he's being honest, and I'm not gonna like beat it down or anything. And he's being straightforward about what the industry is like working for and what it's like back then compared to now, and how streaming and what he's doing now feels more relevant to that. That's very interesting that he's telling us that. I thought that he was going to go off a little bit more because he said stop calling me salty, but he's just basically being straightforward on this video. I can respect that.
If that's exciting to you, go get that fucking job. It sounds like a lot of you guys really want to do that. I wouldn't work in AAA games these days if you paid me. You'd have to pay me. Can you imagine? It's free. But that's a real nightmare. And I saw it at my level. Imagine it at the current level today. Come on now. Come on now.
Interesting. So, David Jaffe, the Jaffinator. This is something a salty boy would say. I started talking about the beginning of the video. You're not salty, you're wet. We can see the thumbnail. You gave me OG God of War 1 and 2. You can say anything you want. GOAT forever. That's interesting. The sodium levels are insane. You enjoy what you enjoy. What the F are these thumbnails, Dave? As I said, he's spicing things up. But no, honestly, this is actually one of his best videos lately. He's actually being honest about parts of the industry where you're like, I want to get your inside information because you were there back then at the old Sony. Let me see how you feel now. Though I do like that Sony is making things better lately compared to where they were last year, but it is interesting getting that type of take. You guys are going to have to let me know what you think about this for sure. Leave some comments down below as usual. I've been enjoying you guys' comments. I've been enjoying the salty comments too. Thank you for all the support. You guys are awesome. Obviously, we're doing this together. You guys giving me views and likes, and I'm making the content and, trying to bring you 3 episodes a day. That's what AGN does over here. Hopefully we can get some, I guess, good Xbox content going in the future, but right now it's kind of seeming a little bit rough. I know people are, definitely not happy about that on the Xbox side. I mean, it's just how it is, guys. I'm sorry. I just have no problem with you at all. I never did. And I appreciate all the support you guys gave me back then, too. Peace out, though, and keep gaming no matter what platform you're on. Gaming is good no matter what, guys. But we got to be critical and be honest when certain companies mess up or corporations, because that's the only way for them to get better. You can't keep being positive and toxic positivity. You don't want that flowing when they need to improve. It's the only way. So, yeah, I mean, think about that. Later.